As you can tell, we're probably in a different setting than we usually are. Today we're at Buckeye Sun Control in Marysville, Ohio. Behind me is my buddy Josh.
How's it going, guys?
Josh, what he does is he's a professional window tint installer. He also does clear protection film. Just about any little aftermarket thing you want to do on your vehicle, he can help you out. So they're located in Marysville, Ohio. BuckeyeSunControl.com is a great their website. I'll put a link to it in the description below. We're about to tint the Land Rover here. We're going to the side windows. So what I wanted to go over now is how to clean the side glass. So in the previous video, what I did was go over how to clean the windshield and some tips from Josh as a pro. If you want to go check out that video, you can click on the link right here in the right hand side of the screen. And you can go check out that video before or come back. It doesn't matter to me. So we're going to get down to it on how to clean the side glass. What I was really worried about was cleaning the edges and how that works. So Josh, take it away. Let's see what you got.
So just like in our last video, the most important part probably about cleaning the window is getting the edges clean. So I'll start with the window cracked enough to get my hand up inside of here. And first I'll just spray off the paper towel and get up inside that molding, and I just run through it one time nice and clean, because just like we talked about in the last video, if you go scrubbing with a wet paper towel, you're going to get lint everywhere.
Right.
So I just do that to make sure I got the dirt out.
Okay, I'm not sure that I've ever scrubbed out the that's funny. So I'm not sure I've ever scrubbed out the window track.
And I mean, when you're being picky, it's important, because every time you roll your window up, it's trapping dirt up there. You know, there's just 100 different ways that dirt gets in there and then falls back out of there, back onto your window.
Right, makes sense.
So then I'll spray down the window with this simple cleaning solution.
Okay. Which we had talked about in the previous video was Johnson's Baby shampoo and just regular water. Do you use distilled water or?
Nope, I just use regular tap water.
Okay, all right.
And then we'll use our Scotch-Brite pad again. If there's something really heavy on there, like I call them weld sparks, little chunks of metal from a welder landing on it, or bug guts, or just anything, you know, really hard, we use a razor blade, but mostly the Scotch-Brite. Okay.
So like anything like iron contamination or tar or anything like that can be taken off with the Scotch-Brite?
Yeah. And then I make sure I get real far back in those moldings with the Scotch-Brite, because it's not going to fall apart. If you try to do that with a paper towel, it is going to fall apart, and you're going to have all that lint back there.
Okay, sweet.
And then run over it again. Just make sure you got everything. Hit the top of the window.
So this would be like a 911 basically. If you're cleaning your car and your windows were just hellaciously dirty, this would be like a 911 going over it with Scotch-Brite and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, this is how we do it before we tint the window, so I mean, it's getting it as clean as possible.
And yeah, like he just went over it with Scotch-Brite. Now you can see how dirty that paper towel is just from wiping what you just wiped, which is crazy.
Yep. So then we'll wipe that down, and like we talked about before, I like to go slow, so you're picking up the most water and the most debris you can. And then I wipe off that bottom edge.
Yep.
Then we'll roll her up, and now our whole top edge is done, so we don't ever have to roll it back down. All that up there is completely finished.
Okay. And so basically, if you were worried about cleaning the outside of the window, you would have done the outside at that point to get rid of it. But we're just doing this for tint purposes, so he just cleaned the inside for instructional purposes.
Yeah, and then we'll clean the outside after we tint her up.
Okay, cool.
So then I wet down the bottom, and we'll do the same thing. Make sure you get far back in the moldings. Scrub that all down. Then I make sure I get my paper towel, I get it folded nice and sharp, and I make sure I get it back pretty far in the moldings too.
And it's crazy how dirty that is on the inside of the window.
Yep.
And you know, if you guys have watched my videos in the past, like I guess I'm kind of anal, but at the same time, like I'm not taking steps like that to get really into the window tracks, and that might be some of my downfall when I'm cleaning glass. I'm not really thinking about all the other little things. Somebody will probably be like, "Oh, you idiot! Why wouldn't you think about that?" But you're on the inside of the window, Josh, and like that was a lot of crap that came out of the window track. So
I know you take really good care of your stuff. Your stuff is not dirty. I mean, it would be like that on anybody's car. I mean, I could pull I could get a paper towel almost black off a brand new car, honestly. Really
Right.
good. I mean, there's a lot of dirt hides in those moldings.
Yeah, so clean the moldings is a big thing on window edges. All right, got it.
Yep.
Too easy.
And then we'll get the tint cut out. And,
All right. So just like I did in my last video, while Josh is cutting his tent and doing his trade secrets, we're going to cut the camera. We'll be back with you afterwards. This video, at the end, when we put the tent on and we have a fully tinted window, me and Josh are going to go over some of the things that you need to do in order to care for tent. Like he's going to mention soon, you really don't need any special care, but you just want to be careful with some of the things and practices that you might have, and what can mess up your tent very quickly. So we'll fade to black and come back and we'll talk about that. All right, so we're back rolling. Now you ready to clean it off?
yep.
Okay, so now since we've gone through I say we, I've been sitting around watching you, but since he just got done tinting the window, now we're going to clean it off exactly like we talked about in the previous video, and then we'll talk about some care for tent. So take it away.
Okay. So, yep, we'll just cover the whole thing. And like I said with the windshield too, I like to let a little overspray get down there just to get off any streaks that I might have left.
Yep.
And like I said, always wipe those first too, because you don't want to drag dirt off your window onto your paint.
Okay.
And then, like we've also talked about, I like to get way back in all the edges always, because that's just where a lot of that dirt is hiding. And as soon as you wipe anything else or spray any kind of water on the window, all that's just going to come flooding out again.
Okay. Making dollars and cents.
So, and then the second time, in my personal opinion, the best way to do it is just spray a really light amount of product on there and then just wipe that all off. And then if there's any streaks left, I'll get, in between every step too, I'm getting a fresh paper towel every time. This is the second paper towel I've used now on this window, on the outside. So then, I don't see anything left now. There's a little bit of watermarks, but those are impossible to get off. But yeah, like I said, if there was streaks left, you can just literally wipe over it with a dry towel.
Cool.
And we'll get anything.
All right, sweet.
Then we'll hit the inside. Same exact process.
Yeah, basically clay barring windows, or doing a water, your hard water spot removal is a completely different video, completely different series actually. But yeah, basically keeping the product to a minimum and not overusing the towel. So two things that
Those
I
are
was
probably
horrible
the
about.
two biggest points, yeah.
You good? Good with this window?
I think so, yeah.
All right, so let's close this door and let's talk about a couple things caring for the tent. So you were talking about basically on professional grade tent, you don't really need to worry about anything in particular.
Exactly. Any higher end film from ATC, which is dyed film, then there's CTX, which is ceramic, and then there's metallic films as well, like Formula One and different really high end films. Any three of those, it really does not matter what you clean it with. Ammonia used to ruin window tint back in the day, and I think that's kind of stuck around. People think that's still the case, but it's not. Any Windex, any window cleaner, you really don't have to watch out for anything like that. I personally stay away from the edges of it with like alcohol or an adhesive remover. I know people actually that clean the windows with that, but it just seems like a bad idea to me.
Okay.
And that's basically it as far as caring for it. Two really big mistakes that we see that wouldn't be covered by warranty or things that you need to watch out for are, like we talked about before, bringing your seatbelt around,
Okay.
and you can whack the window, or reaching back for your seatbelt and hitting the window with a ring.
Yep.
And then dog scratches, man. We see a bunch of people letting dogs get up on their window tint and that will scratch it.
Gotcha.
But other than that, it's really tough stuff. It's really good stuff.
Okay, cool. So yeah, just to recap, don't need anything specific to clean it, and otherwise just be careful with it.
Exactly.
And you don't have to worry about messing up your window tint that you paid money for. So, all right, cool. that wraps up this video. I don't think we got anything else on that. We're going to go over and tent the other side and continue on with the truck. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. This will be a little shorter than the previous one with the windshield. But once again, Josh, thank you from Buckeye Sun Control in Marysville, Ohio.
Had a good time.
If you guys are ever looking in the area, if you're around Marysville, Ohio, and you want some tent done, pretty much the best guy in the area that I found. And I went around to a lot of people and kind of vetted him before I even met you.
Yep.
And that's probably something he didn't know. So, you know, definitely a guy out here doing it right. So if you're in the area, hit him up. Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's BuckeyeSunControl.com.
Okay, cool. So BuckeyeSunControl.com. And
our number is 937-645-76002.
all right, cool. And I'll put that in the description, put it below in the description. So if you want to hit him up, go ahead. If you're in the area, by all means. Yeah, that's that. And we'll see you guys next video.